Have you ever felt someone watching you? That feeling started 3 weeks ago. At first, I thought it was just stress, but then I started hearing things. Tiny sounds, scratching sounds, always coming from the back of the classroom. And every single time I looked, there was nothing there until Monday night. That's when I finally saw her. She was sitting perfectly still, her head tilted slightly downward, and her hair covered most of her face. I thought she was another student staying late, but something felt wrong. The room suddenly became freezing cold. My skin felt numb, and the lights started flickering above her. Then she slowly raised her head. I couldn't breathe. Her eyes, they were completely black, and she was smiling. But I swear, that smile wasn't human. And then she whispered my name. She whispered my name. Even though we had never met before, I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her smile again. That horrible smile. It felt burned into my mind. The next morning, I went straight back to the classroom. I needed to know who she was, but her seat was empty, completely empty. At lunch, I asked my classmates about her. They just stared at me like I was insane. One girl even laughed. She said there was never anyone sitting there. I thought they were joking, so I checked the attendance list. My hands started shaking. Her name wasn't there, an empty space. That's when I started doubting myself. Maybe I was imagining everything. Maybe stress had finally broken me. But then my phone vibrated. It was a photo notification, a memory from 3 years ago, a class photo. My heart stopped. She was standing in the back row. The exact same girl, the exact same black eyes, the exact same smile, but the photo was taken before I joined the school. And then I noticed something even worse. There was someone missing from the picture, a student-shaped empty space, as if someone had been erased. And suddenly, I heard scratching behind me again. I turned around immediately, but the classroom was empty again, completely silent, except for one thing. The scratching hadn't stopped. It was coming from underneath the floor, a slow, dragging sound, like fingernails crawling under the wood. My entire body froze. I ran out of the room. I didn't stop running. Not until I reached the library. I needed answers. Something about that girl felt ancient. So I searched the school archives, yearbooks, newspapers, missing student records. And then I found her name, Yuki Arai. She disappeared 20 years ago, inside this exact classroom, and nobody ever found her body. The police blamed a runaway case, but the students believed something else. They believed the classroom was cursed. They said strange things happened after midnight, and students started hearing whispers. At first, I thought it was just another ghost story, but then I found the final report, and that's when everything changed. Yuki Arai was never reported missing. She was reported dead 3 days before she disappeared. My hands started shaking again because the report included a photograph, and in the background, there was someone standing behind her, a tall figure with no face, and underneath the photo, someone had written 3 words, "Don't let her look." And right after I read that, the library lights went out, one by one, until only the emergency light remained. The emergency light painted the entire library red. Everything suddenly looked wrong. The shelves felt taller, the shadows looked alive, and the air smelled rotten. Then I heard footsteps, slow, wet, dragging closer. My breathing stopped. I hid between the shelves. I could barely move. The footsteps kept getting closer, 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 and then it stopped right in front of me. I covered my mouth. I could hear liquid dripping onto the floor. Drip, drip, drip. And suddenly, it whispered my name again. But this time, the voice wasn't hers. It sounded deeper, older, like something wearing her voice. That's when I understood. The girl wasn't the ghost. She was trapped. Something else was inside the school. Something pretending to be her. And it had been hunting students for years. I tried to stay quiet, but my phone suddenly lit up. The sound echoed everywhere, and the footsteps stopped right outside my shelf. I slowly looked up and saw its face, or where its face should have been. There were no eyes, no mouth, just endless darkness. And inside that darkness, I saw dozens of human eyes opening, all staring directly at me. And then it smiled. That smile should not have been possible. I finally understood why nobody remembered the missing students. The creature wasn't killing them. It was erasing them, piece by piece. Their names disappeared first, then their photos, then the memories, and finally, the person themselves. I tried to run, but the library suddenly looked endless. The exits were gone. The windows were gone, and the creature kept following me. I could hear those wet footsteps behind me, closer, 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 until I felt its hand touch my shoulder. My entire body went numb. I couldn't scream. I couldn't move. And then I heard the girl crying, not behind me, inside my head. She kept repeating the same words. Don't look at its eyes. But it was too late. The eyes inside its face opened wider, and suddenly I saw memories that weren't mine. Dozens of students, all trapped inside that thing. They were still alive, still conscious, still screaming. But nobody could remember them anymore. And soon, I started forgetting myself, my mother's face, my own voice, my own name. And then I woke up in my classroom. Morning sunlight filled the room. Everyone looked normal, like nothing had ever happened. But then I noticed something. My classmates kept looking at me strangely. One girl slowly raised her hand and asked the teacher a question. Who is he? The teacher looked confused. She checked the attendance sheet. Then her expression changed. Slowly, she looked directly at my desk and whispered, "There's nobody sitting there.